Hello, and welcome to Unleash the Creek. I'm Caleb Scott.
And I'm Omarion Ruffin. Alicia Creek is a weekly news show dedicated to great students and teachers here at West Creek High School.
Each week, we'll be giving you inside access to some really cool events and a sneak peek into the daily lives of some of the teachers.
Our first segment will be diving into the world of sports.
Landon, Hector, and Keaton met up with an all-star Coyote football player.
Here is Marcus Gildersleeve.
First of all, Marcus, I just want to say congratulations on the win. How does it feel like having the first win at a home game?
Thank you, bro. It feels outstanding to have a first win, and we coming for many, many more, bro.
That's nice to hear. Also, I saw you have a female kicker now. Has that changed the team dynamic at all, in practices or anything?
Nah, we still go with the same old, but we're glad to have her on the team.
That's good. I heard you're starting now. How does that make you feel?
Man, it makes me feel great. I'm a part of the team now. I'm contributing to the win. It feels great to get this dub.
So I saw on X roster that you played wide receiver, and I also saw you play defense. What position do you play on defense?
I start wide receiver and strong safety.
So when you first started playing football, did you love it at first, or was it just
Man, football was my first love, man.
So has your position changed at all?
No, sir. Start to finish.
So I'm gonna assume your number has changed.
Yeah, it has. I used to be number 28, but now I'm big 2 now,
And based on your performance tonight, I would expect you to see you in college football. And what college would you like to play for?
If I was pursuing that career, I would try to go to Tennessee Tech, but I'm trying to go military, bro. I'm just having fun.
I just want to say, again, congratulations on the first home win, and I hope there's many more to come.
What a bright young man with a great future.
Yeah, he sure does.
Now we move on to a segment that we all are very excited about.
There are so many teachers here in the building worthy of interviews, but none of them seem to match the energy of the teacher in our next segment.
Carly, Omarion, and Emily sat down with Coach Smith in this week's edition of the Teacher Spotlight.
All right, you just go ahead and start talking about yourself, when you were born, where you were born.
Oh, way back when.
Yeah.
So I was born actually in Knoxville, Tennessee, so I'm kind of a local boy. Back in the 80s, I'm not going to be too specific, people are going to judge me, early 80s. I was born in Knoxville. Family actually moved toward Middle Tennessee about 10 years after that. So I grew up in the Middle Tennessee area. I didn't grow up in Clarksville, but I grew up about an hour east of here. So I've been, for the most part, around Clarksville my whole life. I've taught I always forget, I think this is my 11th year. I think that's right. I've coached for a little bit longer. I've worked, before I was a teacher, I worked in retail management, ran a couple businesses, and then transferred over when the opportunity presented itself to coach. I actually originally coached girls basketball, and here now I coach boys basketball and girls soccer. I'm assistant for the boys head girls soccer coach. And yeah, I say the life story is kind of simple. I don't know if you need anything else. I went to college at Belmont University in Nashville, got my bachelor's in business administration and accounting from there, and then I got my master's degree from Cumberland University here in Tennessee in education.
Did you always see yourself becoming a teacher?
I won't say I always saw it. Originally, I thought I was going to be somebody that got into business, opened my own business, and did some things that way. When I was graduating college and getting kind of out into the business world, it was kind of around the time that there was a recession going on, and so opening a new business wasn't a great idea. And so I kind of steered away from that, and then a principal called me one day and asked me if I'd be interested in coaching the freshman girls basketball team. Interviewed for that, got it, started coaching, and then about 4 years later, I had an opportunity. I was asked if I'd be interested in coaching at the varsity level as a head coach, but I was told to do that, I would have to get my degree in teaching, because originally it was in business. And so seeing myself after a few years as a coach, it was something I was really excited about, to get into teaching. And it's something that now that I'm in it, I know it was the right decision.
What would you say the differences is between coaching girls
Girls listen. So that's the big. It's not the biggest thing. Honestly, it's different styles. They respond to different types of instruction and types of coaching. Girls tend to be a little bit more relationship oriented. Like they really want to know that like I'm here for them. That I've got to support them in areas other than just soccer. And I think that's something that's been really big. And so I try to make sure that they know that, you know, when we're off the soccer field, I'm still here if they need me. And so I think developing, you know, a relational style of coaching really helps me connect a little bit better. And so sometimes when it gets hard, when the game gets hard, I can be a little more critical. I can be a little more upset with them because they know where I'm coming from. Guys are a little more, they're just kind of result oriented. Say they don't care about, just tell me what to do and how's it going to make me successful, and then they want to see the success. So I think that approach, you know, the guys being a little more detail oriented to the X's and O's of the game, where the girls, it's about that, but it's also about a connection of trust. Say, hey, I'm going to let this guy yell at me a little bit because I know he's got my back everywhere else.
And I can tell by your poster that you love to travel.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite memory of traveling?
Oh man, I love to travel, honestly. And if I wasn't teaching now, I would be in some form of travel business, or I would be like, I might even be teaching overseas. Honestly, I'm probably going to start my own little travel business on the side just because I love it. My favorite memory, gosh, there's so many good ones. The most unique trip that I've been on is the past fall break of the last year. I went to Kenya in Africa. I went on a safari in, you know, the Serengeti, Kenya's side of the Serengeti, which is called the Masai Mara. And that was really cool because travel wasn't as big yet because it had been through the pandemic and I got tested and all that. So not as many people were traveling. So the animals had gotten a lot more comfortable. And like we pulled up, and when I tell you that I had 7 lions within an arm's reach of me, I had 7 lions within an arm's. It was incredible. Even our safari guide took out his phone to take pictures, and he's been doing it for 30 years. So it was really cool because we got up close to a lot of animals, saw a lot of really cool stuff. And it's one of those where I was nervous because it's a completely different lifestyle than what I was used to driving through Africa, but it was awesome. I'd go again in a heartbeat. It was so cool.
Is there like any more places that you would like to travel to?
Everywhere, all of them. South America is an area I haven't been to yet, but I do the student travel program as well, where we take students from the school and we travel throughout the country. We've got 3 trips going next summer, 1 to South America in the Galapagos Islands, and then 2 to Europe. But as far as places that are really high on my list, Budapest is somewhere I really, really want to go. Israel is a place I really want to go. And then spending a lot of time, Singapore is the one place I really want to get to that I just haven't yet. I'd thought about it, but we're waiting on the pandemic to die down a little bit before we make it out there.
Is there like anything that like got you into traveling, or you just wanted to do it?
Oddly, my first year teaching at West Creek was the first time I ever left the country. Like I did not travel growing up. It wasn't normal. Like it wasn't like we kind of went to the beach every now and then, but my family didn't really do a whole lot of traveling. And then my first year here, I bought tickets randomly to go to Dubai and to go to Egypt. And that was my first ever international travel experience. I planned the whole trip myself. I just went. I was kind of ignorant of everything, but ended up going out there on fall break, my first year here, and immediately I was hooked. I mean, because when I went to Egypt, I did a cruise on the Nile River that everybody grows up, everybody knows where the Nile River is. And then when I saw the pyramids for the first time, the pyramids are still one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. And it was just like, it's the difference between seeing it in a picture and then seeing it in person. I got to climb up the side of the Great Pyramid and walk up about 7 or 8 rows of bricks. And it's just, once I did that, I was hooked. And all the things I've seen pictures of, And I follow a lot of travel pages on Instagram, and so they'll put pictures of different places, and I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I need to see this with my own eyes. And so that seeing things with my own eyes is honestly what got me hooked.
All right, well, that's the end of our questions.
I don't say this about most teachers, but he definitely has it.
He sure does. Last but not least, we have a segment that should be great at informing you of all the great, cool clubs and activities that we have here.
As we all know, this town is full of military personnel, with Fort Campbell being right down the road.
As you all should know, West Creek JROTC program is one of the best in the nation.
We wanted to learn more about one of our teams and what they offer, so we sent Mayara, Tyler, and myself to get some more information.
So what made me initially join the drill team was the attraction to the discipline of it, because when I was a younger kid, I didn't really have the discipline or the will to do greater things, and now that I'm here and I've done 4 years of it, I've kind of gained to grow that sort of discipline, that will.
It's actually kind of funny because it was Colonel Zip, who is the female commander of drill team, and I was talking to her in the supply room, and I even asked her, I said, I'm thinking about doing Raiders. What would you really say I should do? And she even suggested Raiders. She said, I'm on drill team, I'm the commander of it, I would tell you to do Raiders. The next day I came in for a drill meeting, and then I never left.
Been to Kentucky and supposed to go to Florida, but obviously that didn't work out, COVID. But hopefully we get to go back there this year.
All local. We haven't had a big national competition just yet, but hopefully this year.
We're going to be putting in work, whether it's exhibition, IDR, unarmed, armed. Everybody's going to be putting in work. There's going to be no goofing around, no foolishness. And if you're going to be foolish, leave. We can't afford that.
So what we're doing for the day, then we'll have about an hour and a half to 2 hours of practice time where we're just straight working. Right, we like to have fun while we work, but while we're working, it's go time. And then afterwards, I like to sort of have a little personal speech, kind of motivate my younger cadets, especially the new ones coming in.
My brothers that I met in drill team, Wilcox, Funderburg, Palomino, all of them really pushing me and making me want to be better at it.
First Sergeant Luckett, when he talked about it,
Just First Sergeant Luckett.
expect to work hard, be disciplined. There's always something fun to do, whether it be DNC or just hanging out on a hot day.
It's really lots of fun, lots of discipline. You come to work, and when you work hard, you play hard. As cheesy as it sounds, we do not play, but we sure have a fun time while we do it.
It's going to be a lot of work. You got to have the right mindset. It's not for everybody, but once you get into it, you will really, really enjoy it.
Expect to work. Expect to come here and gain something every single day, whether it be practicing what you did the other day or it be learning something new and working on something, whether it be yourself, the team, or your individual component.
Well, that will pretty much do it for the first ever episode of Unleash the Creek.
Tune in next time to find out who captures our attention. And remember,
We are West Creek.